All right, so we are all done setting up our private family trust. I'm super excited. So I know that you guys have questions. We just went through 28 pages of our trust indenture declaration, bylaws, and the different schedules involved. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions. And I will also take a look in the chat, but if you want to raise your hand, come off of mute and ask any questions, because I know at the beginning of the call, we had some questions. And so I wanted us to wait until this time so that we can ask our questions. So I know we have some good questions here. Let me see. Rose asked, does iPostal require a postal service form? Yes, they do. So you do have to get that notarized postal service form from them. I'm not sure what the number is. So if you're saying 1583, so that's probably what it is. I'm not sure. I can't verify or deny. But they do require that you get that notarized form so that they are able to forward your mail to you. Okay. Next, let's see. Marcus, you have a question? It's crazy how this Trump.
Yep. I just wanted to, because my phone died mid this call, so I know I missed a lot of stuff and I'll have to watch the recording, but I just wanted to ask a couple questions. You broke down in the beginning the grantor. I just wanted to confirm we're technically going to be the trustee and an entity is going to be the grantor, right?
You can, yeah, you can structure it however you want. So you can choose for an entity to be the grantor, or you can choose for a natural person to be the grantor. So
Got you.
it's optional.
Got you. Okay, got you, got you, got you. I just wanted to make sure. And for the life insurance policy, I know you mentioned it, but like, is there anything on the life, like if I were to contact my life insurance policy, they have to say, hey, who's your beneficiary? Like who would you like to be your beneficiary? Would I put the trust, the family trust name, or would there be something else separately that I would put?
Yeah, so they would ask you for all of the trust information as far as the name, if there's an EIN, who the trustee is. What else? That's pretty much it. And so usually they'll ask you for the current information too. So who currently is the owner and then who is going to be the future owner. So you have to sign as the current owner as an individual, and then you have to sign as the trustee of the trust of the future owner. And then you will not only be changing the ownership, but you'll also be changing the payer information as well as the beneficiary information.
Got you. Okay. And I can just contact them and they'll make sure that I have all of this situated as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So every single carrier is different, and so they'll be able to give you that information, like their specific forms.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're
I
so
have a, sorry, I have a few questions. So for the virtual address that you have your affiliate link for, we can use the same like address for all the trusts, or do they have to be like separate? Like each one has to have its own address?
So you can use the same address for all trusts, but with iPostal, they only allow you to have one entity per address.
Okay, so it would be like that $9.99 for each trust. I mean, for each
Individual address, yeah.
each individual address. Okay. And then so did I hear correctly? Did you say like the grantor can't be like a friend, like your best friend? I thought we had talked about there couldn't be a relationship. So I was a little confused because I thought yesterday we said that the grantor could be like your best friend.
Yeah, so the grantor, so on paper, what I'm talking about is there cannot be a grantor trustee relationship where the grantor is telling the trustee what to do.
Okay. So it can be like, okay, gotcha. I understand.
Yeah. So for example, my grantor is my father because my children are my beneficiaries, and so he is not directly in my trust. Okay, so he has no power, no control. So obviously we're blood related, and in a normal situation, you have that that the grantor and other parties in the trust are related. But there just can't be that influence.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, two more. Sorry, everyone. Two more questions and that's it.
No worries.
The next question is, should our beneficiaries, and this is just, I just want your opinion on this. So should our beneficiaries be like our actual children, or should they be entities? And the reason why I asked is because I've been, studying different things before I joined, and I was told by someone else that they shouldn't be your children because like humans die, but businesses don't. So it should be like an entity or a business that your child would have control over. Is like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I'm also going to give you the same answer, which it is optional. Okay. So it can be both, right? Hypothetically speaking, it can be both, and it's up to you. So what I have seen, and I've discussed this with other trustees, is, for example, if you were to start an LLC for your child, right? And then you would have that LLC be the beneficiary versus your child being the beneficiary, right? So you can do it that way if you want to. The only issue with that is that it depends on the type of entity, right? So I personally wouldn't do an LLC because you have annual reports, and the LLC is actually in the jurisdiction of a state. And so it's a statutory entity. So I personally would not make an LLC, but what I've also seen is that people will make their all caps name or their straw man's name an LLC, and then they would make that the beneficiary. So it really is optional of what you want to do. But if you were to use an entity, I personally wouldn't use a business. I would use a trust. Because a business can still, end up in probate litigation. There's no protection. So if you make the business a beneficiary, where's the protection for the beneficiary?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is optional. So what I have done is I personally have made my children my beneficiaries. And so I'm structured the way you guys are going to be structured, to where I have the family trust as the beneficiary of the business trust and the ministry trust. And then I have my children as the beneficiary of the family trust. My children, they have a YouTube channel. And so I have been walking around this idea of setting up a trust in the name of their YouTube channel, and then making their trust, that's their YouTube channel, the beneficiary. So like I said, it's optional. It's up to you, right? Not everyone has children. And so it's really on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. And last question, I guess I'm getting a little confused on which assets to put in which trust. So I have a bunch of real estate properties, life insurance policies, personal homes, cars. So how do I like separate what goes into which trust? Or does a little bit go here, a couple here, or?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So first of all, let me tell you what the best practice is, so that you have this mental awareness, okay? The best practice out here in the universe is for you to have one asset per trust. It sounds like you have 15 assets. Do you want 15 trusts? That's optional, okay? So what the best thing for you to do is, for your insurance policies, it should be in your family trust. For your primary residence, it should be in your family trust, right? For your businesses, those are assets, it should be in your business trust. Your business can also have an insurance policy, especially if you are the key person or the key man in your business. So you can have a separate policy just for that, right? Your vehicles are high liability entities, right? High liability assets, right? And so they are on the road, they could get into car crashes. You don't want your vehicles in the same trust that you have your primary residence or other real estate or anything else, really. So you want a individual trust just for your vehicles. You can put, if you have multiple vehicles, you can put, like, let's just say you have 5. You can put all 5 vehicles into one trust, or you can set up 5 trusts and put one vehicle in one trust. So it depends on how complex you want your structure. Or what you can do is you can group it into assets. So for example, if you want to have one trust specifically for real estate, and then you'll have all 10 of your houses in one trust. You have another trust specifically for insurance policies, you have all 10 of your policies in one trust. You have another trust specifically for cars, you have all 3 of your cars in one trust. And then you have your business trust, and all of your businesses go in that one business trust. So it really depends, but what I recommend is that if anything associated with your family, you have it in your family trust. So your insurance policies on you and your children should go in your family trust, right? Your primary residence where you and your children live should go in your family trust. And then if you have any other type of real estate, you can create a separate business trust to hold those houses or that real estate. So we can talk about that when we do our one-on-one. Okay, Lisa?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Jerry, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. I didn't hear you yesterday. Yesterday is like the hand was up, then it was down, and I was like, where's Jerry?
Yeah, my earpiece was not functioning properly.
Okay, thank you for letting us know. I thought you went ghost on us.
So I have a few questions. I think someone were kind of answered already.
Yes,
But
sir.
can we use the same grantor for all 3 trusts?
That's a good question. Yes, you can. These are all separate entities. They're not like, related like cousins or anything like that. So yeah, you can use the same grantor, the same trustees, the same beneficiaries.
Okay. And as far as the addresses, I want to make it clear, like the address, it's okay to have the same address for all 3 of these, right?
Yes, you can. You can. I mean, it depends on how simple or how complex you want it. So is it okay to have the same address? You're going to keep the address private, right? And so if the address is private and the entity is private, you can use the same address, okay? But then if you have an entity that you're out here, doing business with, then you don't want it to be associated with your other trusts that are 100% private and not dealing out here, in commerce. So it depends, but as long as you are operating them all the same way to where they're all private, then you can keep them, or they can all be associated with the same address.
Okay. And you wouldn't suggest like me using my mother's address, right?
Your mother's address. So have you ever received mail there?
Yes.
I would not recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to use it in like what we call like an undisclosed address, like an address that you've never been associated with or anyone that is within your trust or associated with you.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a good question, Jerry. All right. Next, Roxanne.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Holding companies. Will we be doing a holding company?
Yeah, so you can utilize your business trust as your holding company. So your holding company is an entity that is not operational, right? And that is just used to hold your asset, which is your LLC or your corporation. And so what we are going to do on Thursday and Friday, on Friday, what we're going to do on Friday is we are going to sell our LLCs or corporations. We're going to do a business purchase agreement, and we're going to sell our business to the trust. Okay. So that removes all association from us, right? So now we've sold the entity to another entity, to another business, right? They acquired. Your business got acquired by a business trust, okay? And so then at that point, that business trust is your holding company, okay? So that is your that is going to be the owner of the entity. So if you have an LLC, then you're going to, once you do that purchase agreement, you're going to remove yourself as the authorized member, and you're going to add the business trust. So the business trust is going to be acting as a holding company, okay? So you can use it for that purpose, okay? You could also use it to conduct business. So for example, if you wanted to open up, an Amazon store, right? You can set up your business trust to where you name it whatever you want, right? Roxanne store. And then now you are on Amazon doing business. So you can use it however you want, but the business trust is the primary reason is one, to own or operate other legal entities, and those could be any entities, which are trusts, corporations, LLCs, nonprofits, and then also to do business.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Last question for tonight, and the previous two questions answered a lot of my questions. I place some lots into an LLC. I will be taking note that LLC and putting it under the business trust, correct?
Correct.
Now, do we do this with the Secretary of State far as conveying ownership?
You have to do an amendment. Yes, you have to do an amendment to your articles of organization through the Secretary of State. And they will process it however long, but you're going to, and we're going to go through this on Friday. I don't know why I want to keep saying Thursday. My goodness, where am I? So we're going to go through this on Friday when we're transferring the assets. Okay. So for that first hour, we're going to go through the amendments through the Secretary of State to remove yourself as the authorized member and to add the business trust as the authorized member or officer if you're operating a corporation. Okay.
Okay. And they cannot ask for that trust. The Secretary of State only can.
Yep, they can.
Certain parts of it, correct? Or just a declaration page?
Yeah, they can ask for like a signature page, but what you want to provide them with is a certificate of trust. So whoever is asking for your trust, you give them the certificate of trust, which is that 1 page plus the trustee powers.
Okay.
That's all they're getting from you.
Okay, Key Bank asked me for my whole entire trust. But I do want to let you review what I did prior to the class, and thank you for answering questions.
You're welcome. Thank you, Roxanne. Kinota. I hope I said it right. Kinata. Oh my God. I'm gonna write it down. Kinata. I'm writing it down. I'm not gonna mess this up tomorrow.
It's okay. I heard you say there's ways to put your property in the family trust, but in the introduction, when you were just telling us about about the program that you offer, I think it was the insurance guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he said that if you put your property in the ministry trust, then you don't have to pay property taxes anymore. So wouldn't it be best to just put it in the ministry trust?
Yeah, it is. It's optional. So you
What? That's a gem, major key.
So you are going to do what's in the best interest of your organization. Okay. So is it if your goal is to be exempt from property taxes, then put your property into a ministry trust. Absolutely, yes. That is the way that you want to do it, especially if you're a real estate investor, if you have multiple properties, right? So with your ministry trust, you are only exempt from property taxes from one property. If you have 10 properties and you only have one ministry trust, you choose one property, and then the other 9 are going to be taxed. Unless you're smart and you create 10 ministry trusts, and then you have put 1 trust per property. So you are absolutely correct, my dear. Yes, you have to understand that this is like a Legos, right? So you build it however it fits your specific life, your assets, your family, your organization, your business, whatever it is. That's why I tell you guys, hey, this is just a template, and you have to customize it to what Keynote. So you have to customize it to what your business is or what your family dynamics is, right? So yes, if you want to legally not pay property taxes, put it in the ministry trust.
Oh my God, I love that question and that answer.
Yes, me too.
Ew.
That's why I love doing the groups, because I'm telling you, we feed off each other. It's 9:12, so I'm not trying to keep you guys here late. Jimmy asks, can grantor also be co-trustee? No, because a co-trustee has powers. A grantor does not have power. The grantor cannot hold any other position within the trust. So Roxanne, I'm not sure what this is. You said, should I place vehicle in trust name? What do you mean? Did you get the answer to that question?
Got the answer. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. And let's see. Tamara said, it is crazy how this trumps a will. Definitely trumps a will. Who else? Is there any other questions out here? Because I want you guys to get out on a timely manner. So it's 9:13, and I promise to get you guys out on time today. So any other last questions? All right, perfect. So I do have homework for you guys. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, the link is in the chat. Go ahead and join the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group, I want you to post and let us know why you decided to become a trustee. Right? So what is the reason why you decided to become a trustee? That is the homework for tonight. So be engaged in the Facebook group. If you didn't do the homework yesterday, which is to introduce yourself to the group, go ahead and introduce yourself to the group, and then do a separate post letting us know why you decided to become a trustee. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to be setting up our ministry trust. Okay. So tomorrow our ministry trust is 59 pages. So we're going to go deep into it, and we're going to go down every single paragraph of the 59 pages. After we're done setting up our ministry trust, we are going to apply for an EIN that is for a tax exempt organization. Okay. So that the IRS can recognize that our faith-based organization or ministry is tax exempt, okay? And we don't have to apply for a 501c3. And then we're going to become ordained ministers, okay? So we're going to go on Universal Life Church, and we are going to become ordained ministers in a couple of minutes. So that is what we are planning for tomorrow. So you are going to receive an email from Aya on you're going to receive an email from Aya tomorrow morning with all the resources that you need, as well as the templates and the Zoom link. So I will see you guys here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, accept my request for Facebook. It still isn't approved yet, please.
Okay, I'll do that now. Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
Bye.